Ni hao. Vanuatu 2025.
Yep.
In Mexico 2024. We had Montenegro 2024.
Yep.
What's the biggest thing that changed when you got into ATG?
Into ATG? Interesting. Throwbacks. I guess it would be. It depends how far you go into ATG, because there's getting into ATG when I was starting to do it as a client, as a person, or whatever, and then there's ATG when I started doing it for ATG for coaches. The main thing getting into ATG for coaches was probably the energy shift of like constantly listening to Ben in my head, and then obviously went into Uncom after that and stuff like that. But originally, just as a client, it's then like seeing a different aspect on traditional strength training and the hope that, okay, I can actually get out of this.
So you applied it as an athlete. How difficult was it then to apply it as a coach after you'd done it personally?
It's easy, to be honest. Like, especially with my kind of damage, like there's not really anyone that's come to me that's had worse than what I had. So it's like when you come from a place of actually that much confidence of, no, this is the stuff that helped me, like it was pretty easy once I dug into it. Obviously there was some stuff at the start where I remember putting like the polls and stuff like, oh, this person's saying I got this, like can I help? Or this person's saying I got this, can I help? And Ben was like, look, ability is ability, like some surgeries needed, some surgeries not, like just work on ability, this and that. And then once I started getting results from other people as well as myself, and it's like, boom.
What if this is picking up Kadeem opening his coconuts there? That's how good it is here. If you can hear banging, it's Kadeem opening a fresh coconut after our session there.
Come here.
He's going to bring it in. It's the highlight. We've just been squatting, and Kadeem did a massive push-up test as well. But, we can hear your coconut opening, bro. We're doing a podcast.
Oh, no way. I thought you were.
You're good. No, listen. Then what changed when we started working together? You had the process there with Mav. You got really into the mind materials, the Bob Proctor. Like, what was the biggest change that happened when we connected there?
Yeah, it's interesting. Me and Justin were having this conversation yesterday. He was at events with like Andy Elliott and stuff, and he's like, well, everyone here hasn't got the Uncom mind. It's a different level of stuff. Thomas Troward says in his book that you have to understand stuff on a physical, a spiritual, and a intellectual level. If you have it on all those three planes, then you really understand it. If you're even missing one of those, then you're missing the entire mark of what the thing's trying to do. So he goes into a story about like Noah's flood, and he says like people just say, oh, that's just a story and it happens. But then you also have that, yes, the physical. You have it on the intellectual level of like, why did this happen? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's the mindset of everything? Then you have it on a spiritual level of like, he then refers the water to spirit, and then he refers the earth to the physical realm and goes into it like that as well. So it's like, if you don't have it on those three elements, you're not really doing the thing. I feel like Uncom does that to a certain extent.
You probably did it more than like at different times, it's different things to different people, but you, Justin, really took on that spiritual aspect pretty deeply. At that same time, it was Evan, Kadeem. You guys all formed that mini mastermind together, and you've all built big brands, and you're all full-time, doing what you love doing. That's really the secret, I think, that people don't understand is like, if you can find those few people that are really willing to charge and are going to inspire and go with you, it's actually probably more important than being a mentor and finding a mentor. Like, in a way, I've been a mentor to you guys, and I've opened different doors, and we've had conversations. I think it's even more important, and probably what I've done even like better than anything that I teach is like, I'm able to find those people for other people. And like, looking back through all the time, there's always been those links of like, you need to speak to him and you need to speak to him, and then some of those relationships stick, and you guys just all exploded together. Like social followings, which made it easier to get your products to market and make money, but then at the same time, like that, you found that deeper meaning and significance to it, which is all the confidence and fearlessness and like so many levels to what you guys did there. How many people have you employed now from the network?
From Uncom itself, wow, probably getting close to 10 now. At different times, like people come in for a month and they do the work and they say, oh no, I'm good now because I've got this money, or it taught me this or taught me this, but probably around 10 or so, I'd say. Yeah.
And what difference do you think that's made for how you think about business and how big you can think?
Yeah, massive. Like leverage. I've been saying that for ages. Like Hormozy was one of the people that like got into my brain, like leverage. And I was quite lazy in school in terms of like I'd get a C and then I'd be like, yeah, like I'm chilling. Like I'd get the best grades, but like at the very minimum amount of work. Like I'd get a first in uni, but I would like dabble here and there, and then I'd be lazy the rest of the time. So my brain always works to indicate how much leverage can I create so I can do the least amount of work. But then the other time I was doing stuff is listening to podcasts 8 hours a day. So it's like, okay, if I can get my business done in like 4 hours, I can listen to podcasts 8 hours a day. And then you employ someone in the DMs, wow, you just freed up 4 hours of your own time, or 2 hours of your own time, or however much time you're doing. I was probably doing upwards of 4 or 6 hours in the DMs every day. And then it's like, okay, there's that break. I can use that to do something else on the same business, and then we're getting, at the same time, 2 things are happening on the business when it's not just yourself. Then you just go. And at the end of the day, it's just a math equation. If we have 4 people in the DMs and they're all doing 4 hours each, that's 16 hours in the DMs. If you're doing 16 hours in the DMs and you can't book at the very minimum 3 calls a day, at the very, very minimum, like that, you have to be silly to book 3 calls of 16 hours. But if you can't, then it's like, okay, you're doing something wrong. And then if you can't close even like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a week off that 3 calls a day, you get your show rate to 70%, you get your close rate to like 30%. You're probably going to be closing 1 a day if you have like 4 or 5 calls booked in the day.
Yeah, so there's this mechanical, simple element to business that once spiritually, intellectually, you're going in that direction, then you still physically do those things. Yeah. People are talking about not having enough time. Today I've got 8 hours of calls. I did 4.5 this morning. I got 3.5 booked this afternoon. Yeah. I'm still getting a podcast. I still got a killer session with Kadeem. I wrote 2,000 words in my book this morning. Yeah. I put my son to sleep, walking around, chilling with me. The days are long. You're the one who always says it. Like the days are long. There's plenty of time.
Yeah. So much time.
Yeah. And especially if you can get yourself full-time, like finding the way to get yourself full-time in your business. If you can take 1, 2, 3 months away from whatever you're doing, if you can save up for it, or if you can get yourself to that full-time point, you were able to work a lot. If you go drive Tesco's at one of the hacks. Tell them about your days at Tesco and how you were, hopefully no one from Tesco is listening. But
yeah. No, Tesco delivery driver, like it was the best job possible for me at that period of time, because there was 2 types of people that would work there. It's either people around my age or those people that are like 60 years old. So you have to cater to the time frames to both. So the 60-year-old people were doing like 16 drops in like the whole time that it takes. Whereas me, I was razzing around, calling everyone up, oh, can you take your drop early, get the 16 done in 2 hours, and then do 2 hours of work on my business while being at Tesco. Because they don't pay off how much you do, they pay off the hours you spend there. So I would just do that and then go chill somewhere in the lay-by, do the DMs, do whatever, and get 2 hours of actual work done. Then I'd be listening to podcasts and books all day in the Tesco delivery driver. Then I would go to the gym, and on the drive to the gym I'm listening to podcasts, and in the gym I'm doing DMs in between the sets while listening to something. And then I go home, go to sleep, wake up next day, film a reel, edit the reel, do the DMs, and then do the same thing again.
What's changed in the habits of your thinking?
Since Tesco?
Yeah, since the early days, like since before you had a business, before you really thought you could even work for yourself, like when you were just not sure what the future was going to hold for you, a uni student, like you're starting to think about this, but yeah, how have your habits of thinking changed?
Yeah, it's been a lot of stages of development. Like you kind of have to go up the layers of the spiral in each one to go for it. So I first went through like the year 3, like the tape mindset, and like just after I broke up with my girlfriend, like it's a tape mindset of like, oh, just work. But then it's missing something. It's that physical element where you don't get the others. So then I started listening to Bob Proctor, and it's the spiritual element, and then you start doing the intellectual stuff as well. And it's like I mean, you said the other day, it's like I can even see that your positive mental attitude has developed. Like Napoleon Hill was always on about this, okay, positive mental attitude, and it's like, yeah, like life's yours for the taking. You literally just do anything. There was times in my life where I was depressed. There was times in my life I would fall back into old routines, fall back into old habits, be lazy, do different stuff. It's kind of just gone to a certain extent. Like something like this where I had like the cut and the throat and this and that, like I'd probably be down and done. But like I've been like chilling or whatever, but like I'm still like chilling. Like I'm not like upset about it. I'm just like, yes, just wait till it's over.
You still craving a beer and a bag of Skittles, or?
Right now, being in Vanuatu, not a beer, probably not Skittles either, to be honest. Like, it's probably dialed down to like dates and butter, maybe some mince and eggs and cheese. Some cheese would be real good.
You only get cheese. You get cheese all the time.
Nah, it's like 10 quid.
Yeah, it's not cheap, yeah. Especially imported cheese. But athletically then, what has it meant for you to get much stronger? I know you trained in gym before and you were like decent on bench press and chin-ups and stuff, but actually getting your athleticism back, like what has that meant to your mental state?
Yeah, it's the difference between health and gym, I believe. Like, in terms of like, I was going to the gym and stuff, and I'd make progress on some stuff, not make progress on other stuff, and it's because my hormones were all jacked up. Because I would, probably because of all my childhood and my teenage years as well, but even at that time, like, sometimes I'd go out drinking, and then probably a few times a week I'd be eating chocolate, like, I'd be eating
Stay
cereal.
up late with the computer games and stuff sometimes, or?
Yeah, like, I had a girlfriend at times who'd watch a lot
Not
of
that much,
Netflix.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd smoke a bit of weed here and there and stuff like that, so it's like,
Yeah.
on those days I'd binge and whatever. It's like the hormones were probably all kinds of jacked up, and then yeah, it's more about that health thing and that just being able to do whatever I want whenever. Like, I can literally like just sprint just whenever, and it's like child, I can jump off anything. Like, I'm just absolutely rolling, and yeah, it's cool, it's good.
For someone who's listening to this, who's watching too much porn, playing too many computer games, drinking too many beers, smoking too much weed, watching too much Netflix, spending too much time on social media, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's all of that stuff comes together, right? So you have to, for me, I found you dial off one thing at a time, and it's you usually switch over something else.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Does it take discipline for you not to do that stuff now?
nah, I haven't watched porn in a long time. Like, you grow up, especially in like the UK, like America and stuff like this, where porn's just
It's
available
part
to
of
you
the
at
culture,
like
the youth culture.
10 years old. Like, it's, and then it's like just in you, it's just ingrained.
It wasn't
throughout
that
the
young
entire-
when my but I can imagine these days.
It's freaking nuts. Like, 10 years old, like I had the first one, and I was like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like now, like I don't even think about it. Like, I feel like a lot of that's come down to my Christianity and stuff like that as well. Of like,
Yeah.
it's literally renewed my mind to a certain extent. Of it used to like feel bad after I'd done that stuff. Now it feels bad before. Like, and I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you just programmed in that way now.
So is that maybe part of what someone could look for, is like what's going to inspire you where you just don't even want to do that? Is it like this? I think there's been times in my life where it's like I had to make a strong decision of like moving away from something I didn't want to do. Like with alcohol, it was a problem for me for a time. It had to be like, but I had that thing that I committed to the thing that I loved, and that made it easier to, like, for me it was hockey, focused on going to the Olympics. I was like 19, 20 years old, and like I really had to go hard if I was going to make the jump in performance that was needed. So that was like what made it easier. It was almost like an excuse for like, no, I can't drink because I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Like, I think there's either a big change. Like, for me, it was like the breakup with my ex. I just, like, I had like a bunch of money and like weed equipment and stuff like that. Like, I broke up with my ex, I chucked it all in the bin, just never touched it again.
Yeah.
That was like the moment. Like, same with kind of
Not
alcohol
eBay?
and stuff. Nah, just chucked it straight in the bin. It was like,
Someone would have made use of that, man.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I could have made some money as well. Put it into ads, got some more investment. But nah, then
That's good not wanting someone else to have it.
that's one thing. The second thing is then listening to stuff over and over again, and then it just becomes your thoughts. So if you're constantly getting small hits of like, no, porn's bad, porn's bad, porn's bad, porn's bad, you're going to eventually think porn's bad if that's in your head constantly. If people are saying that porn's bad, you're not just going to be like, nah, porn's good. Like, that's not how it works. The people around you and what you're putting in your brain is going to dictate the way you think about life. So if you keep if you keep listening to people, especially in like UK, where it's like, this is good, let's go down the pub, like, have conversations or whatever, they're swearing, they're doing all this stuff, that's going to get in your brain. Like, I watched a couple of YouTube videos of like stuff I used to watch when I was younger, and I came out and I swore, and I was like, yo, what are we saying? Like, where does that even come from? Like, get that out of my brain. I just chose to get out and it's gone. But it's like, who you're around will literally dictate. Like, that's just a small thing, but to me, like, that's big now. And I was like, wow, like, I just swore for the first time in like months.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Right, well, I can see exactly where it came from, and now I know, nah, not anymore.
What's an average day look like for you in this phase of your life, at least? I know you've had a lot of flux in the last little bit, traveling and being here. And
if I was like locked in at home,
what's your ideal day, or what are you going to be doing next week? What's your jet lag?
So I wake up at 5 a.m. Go drive to a coffee shop, get a coffee, read the Bible for probably an hour and a half. Listen to like a Bible podcast as well at the same time, like break stuff down. I'll then do two things. I'll either do a bit of work for an hour in the car, or I'll just go straight to the gym, depending on what time it is. Probably I'll go straight to the gym, and then I'll come home, whether I do a bit of shopping, whatever, but I'll hit the gym and then come back. I'll then do 2-3 hours of work in the morning at home, just locked in, whether it be, usually it's content. Like the big thing for me right now is like getting out content. That's the thing that's going to push the business forward for me, so I'll get that knocked out in 2-3 hours. I'll then have lunch before that, and then do the 2-3 hours. So I probably start about 9, half 9, and then finish around 12, half 12. Do a skill session for an hour or two, and then I will have some more food, and then I will do another 2-3 hour block. And then I like to keep the evenings chill, whether I go for a drive, if I was with people, like when I'm going to go with Tom, like we'll go to maybe a steakhouse or whatever, do something in the evening and keep it chill, and then go to sleep probably about 8.
Yeah. How do you make good content?
How do I make good content? Comes from the sub really. Like, you gotta, if you know your stuff really well, that's one thing. Yeah, you gotta tap.
What do you mean by subconscious?
How do people not know now? Like, what are we saying? Conscious, subconscious. You have the conscious mind, what we're thinking about right now. When you're actually like thinking, okay, I am conscious. You're in your conscious mind. Your subconscious is more of the automatic thoughts and the feelings that are inside of you. So when you then tap into the subconscious, you're closer to the universal mind, and then you'll get ideas from there. So if I'm in my subconscious and I'm just flowing from that when I'm doing my reels and stuff, I'll get ideas from places and I'll just say stuff, and it'll make my reels go viral without me even being like, okay, I wrote this script, I done this, I done that, because I'm getting ideas from somewhere else. But it might be a bit far for someone new watching this.
Maybe yes, maybe no. But yeah, what else is key in content?
Hook, goods, value. Like, given so much value, connection as well, being able to connect through the camera, like you're speaking to one person, like there's a person on the other side of this that I'm talking to right now, and he's probably listening to me going, oh no, like I relate with that, or whatever. So thinking about those are a few things. And then obviously you have the mechanic side of things, of like study people, study your own stuff, send feedback to other people. But there's just something that about knowing your stuff and really thinking about it in frameworks and different kinds of stuff. I see people, same thing over and over again, of like, first start with short range. There's this person that posts a video every time, the hook's different every time. The first thing he says every single time is, you start off in the short range with the backward sled. Every time. Like, there's no variation. I get it up to Kadeem in the morning, I go, I wonder what he's going to say today. It's backward sled. Is that from the sub, or is that from just mindlessly repeating something because you think it's going to get views? I don't know.
So content game, hook, value, and then often you're doing call to action as well sometimes.
Yeah, like it definitely depends. Like the value, if I was someone and I was like
just getting started, like I just deliver all the value in the world, because if you ask when you haven't got a very big audience, like you kind of seem beggy. So like that's, even now, like that's kind of what I'm going back to, of like I'm just trying to give so much out, because if you give stuff out, it will eventually come back. And that doesn't mean just give every single system out, but it does mean give a lot of value out in small parts. Like solve one problem. Like we have this massive framework of bulletproof body, bulletproof mind, bulletproof health, and then from there you have the 3R system, then you have principles in there, and you want to break each one down and give them a little bit, and then be like, wow, that's really like, boom, something's clicked in my mind, but it hasn't solved the entire puzzle for them, right? So a bit of a mystery sandwich. There's always going to be, even if you tried to coach everyone through your Instagram, there would still be gaps. Like Ben pretty much did that in the early days, and his account blew up because he was just giving it all away, and everyone was like, wow, like this is the best stuff, and nobody's ever taught this stuff, and you're giving away free on Instagram. But then because he had a $50 a month product, everyone's just like, well, let me give you some money for that.
Yeah, and you can't even remember it. Like, what's the last? If you've scrolled reels in the last 2 days, I know you have. Like, what are the last 3 reels you've watched? Like, write it down right now. Like, you won't be able to remember. No one will be able to remember. And like your videos from like the long lectures that I've watched probably like 10, 15 times, like I still go back and I'm like, yo, what are we saying? Like, I don't remember this, like this part or this part or this part. So it's like, no matter how much you give out anyway, like people still won't.
Yeah. And it's like, there's the other value in the accountability, the direct conversation, customization, and you can never equal the most value you can give in other formats on short form or even on long form. So you don't really have to worry about giving too much away so much, especially starting out. And where are you going with it? Like, you've started to work with, you said like 4 pro footballers. There's one from one of the big 5 marquee clubs now in the Premier League, like fairly mental from Tesco a couple of years ago, not having coached anyone. But it's just, it's facts as facts. Like, it's good systems. Your own abilities are so far above and beyond what the average professional football player can do, and they can see that with your knees. And it sort of looks normal in our communities. Like, people who've done ATG or been going through our stuff. Like, it's not that crazy to be able to do a natural knee extension, but they're in a professional football team and they've never seen anyone do that.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it going like, wow. So it's not that crazy, but you've got these pros signing up now. Like, what's next? Where does this go?
Yeah, I mean, just touching on that point, like I spoke to Robbie and he was like, we were talking about Nordics and stuff. I was like, yeah, Nordics, like you want to take them to extreme levels. And he was like, oh really? Like, yeah, we would just work down and like would be at for that. And I was like, yeah, I can do 30 Nordics in a row. And he was like, what? Like, what are we saying? So it's like, it's just a small thing, but
no, it's not a small thing. It's like it's standards and it's culture. And people don't understand who've been through ATG and whatnot. Like, this is so far away from professional athletic culture. You still got, like, there's coaches responding like, no, you don't need to do Nordics, because they're looking at it and they're going like, frick, we can't go anywhere near those standards. Like, what are these guys doing? So they've got 2 choices. They can either learn how to be able to get to those results that they're not getting now, or they can throw stones at it. Yeah. And like, it's fine to have a different opinion and go different paths to elite. There's definitely, people can get to elite standards and low injuries without using Nordics, but I think a lot of the criticism just comes from like, frick, we can't do that. I have no idea how they got to being able to do that. Like, let's just say it's bad, which was that way in my initial hand movement. But it's a big thing.
100%. And then to like the future stuff, like we're willing. Obviously, first is the biggest football rehab and performance brand, and then second is the biggest personal development brand down the line when I'm older. But those are the 2 things, and then probably have a family some part along the way. Probably a good time.
Yeah. And what's it been like traveling as well? How much travel had you done before this journey began?
I mean, UK is known for it's like, okay, you spend your year in UK and you go away for 2 weeks to some Spain or some Greece or whatever. Yeah, and then come back. That's about the extent of it. I had been to some cool places like Dubai, whatever, but I hadn't travelled like, I travelled after. Like, I went from Mexico, I went to America, back to England, then like 2 weeks later to Dubai, and then from Dubai I went to Mexico, and then from Mexico we spent a couple of weeks in the UK. Then I went to Montenegro for a month, and then came back, Montenegro again. Kadeem came over from Switzerland a couple of times, and then Cyprus for a month, and now Vanuatu. So, yeah.
What do you think that's done for your mind, for your perspective?
Yeah, it's definitely opened my mind, and there's definitely a time for it. And it depends what you're going to travel for, right? Like, I haven't gone to travel to Pi.
No.
Which is the good thing. I've travelled, and every time I have, I've gone to see you or see Kadeem or be with people, around people, and in a good environment, and that's expanded the mind every single time. It's expansion. The universe always expands. But yeah, it's definitely cool. Like, there's times of going out travelling and stuff, and there's times of locking in again, and there's times of travelling. It's a good time.
How are you going to get your football to the next level?
Football to the next level. Develop a plan. Obviously, we didn't have time to right now, but if you first it's for the athleticism side of stuff. Like, if I can get super high vertical, get all the stuff going, amazing. And then it's obviously elasticity as well on top of that. So acceleration, elasticity. Then it's playing every day, probably joining a 5-a-side team, and then maybe going into 11-a-side again, depending. Like if you go into an environment and they're playing high level football, like you're gonna start playing high level football. Like that's what I continuously did. Like I played for Peterborough PDC, and then because I played in there, I then went to Norwich PDC, who at the time were in the Premier League. So if you don't know how it works, it's like PDC, Elites, and then Academy. And then from Norwich PDC, I then moved into the Elites. And then...
Are they ages or...?
Nah, so you have all of the age groups, and then in the age groups you have like all the clubs and stuff, and then they have the free sections. So Peterborough will have the PDC, the Elites, and the Academy for each age. Yeah. So a lot of people still don't make it at that point, but it's whatever. But I went from, like I was playing in Premier League club in the elite level, so one away from the academy, and like we were playing League One academies and stuff, and we were beating them pretty much every time. So I was at a high level and then had the snap kneecap and stuff, but it's like the reason that I was getting so good was I was playing so many times a week, and I just constantly putting myself in an environment where I was playing with elite people. Because I went to the trials. I just went, people trials sorting in there. Okay, I'm just gonna go. And I was like, like all my mates, do you want to come? They're like, nah, we're not even that good, because at the time I was playing at a real low club. I was like, let's go. I got in, and then from there got better and better and better and better.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's that side of stuff. And then dial in the nutrition and stuff, get up to 68 kg lean. Don't know when, we'll see what we're saying. Just trying my hardest to dial in the supplements and the nutrition, stay on top of stuff, and then, that's probably the plan right now.
Anything else you want to share here that we haven't touched on?
Nah, we're rolling.
Bulletproof Ballers. Bulletproof Baller on Instagram's Liam.
That's what I'm saying.
Working away with Kadeem as well on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Liam's been a massive help to a lot of people with building a business as well. I was thinking we've got to find a way to get people into that short course that you've made as well, make it available individually.
Yeah.
People get a lot of value in terms of just how to build an online business. It's got that mechanical side, very simple, and then it's got the spiritual side to it as well.
Yeah.
It's thorough, and it's only sort of hour and a half, 2 hours, so it's something you can take and do it again every month. You'll get something new out of it every month.
100%.
And
change the name to Bulletproof Business.
Bulletproof Business, there you go. I love it. Appreciate you coming out. It's always special getting this time together. This is probably the longest one so far and the most personal. I'm looking forward to more adventures together. But it's cool to see it all growing, and appreciate your support with everything. You've been massive support to everything I've been doing over the last couple of years, and to lots of the men in the network. Like I know you've made a huge difference, so appreciate everything that you've done, and look forward to the next adventure together. Maybe Montenegro next. That's fun.
Montenegro, see people there. Gotta get them there. But it's good every single time that I come out and see you guys. It's massive for me, and you were probably the first one to install that mindset in me of like something you said to me like in Mexico that just stuck with me. It's like no, the world needs you to a certain extent. I was like I was saying that to myself for a long time. No one else said it to me ever, and you said it to me. I was like, okay, we're rolling.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power. We were talking about this morning I was talking with Manuel, and he was saying about there was a study. There was a university lecturer who had to get some people going with marketing campaigns, and he had these students to manage that were going to produce advertising content, and he worked with them for 2 years, and they produced all this amazing creative stuff, and they were like, oh, what did you do? How did you teach them? And he's like, nothing. I just told them that they were the creative ones, and they were selected to do this role because they're super creative, and they just went and did it. And I don't talk bullshit, like I'm not telling you something that I'm not actually thinking, but there's a role for being able to see like, well, this guy could crush it, like, and being that person who can see that in others. Now you've got that opportunity with the football, like, yeah, bro, like this, you're gonna get so much better at this. It's gonna feel so, but like they're like, obviously you're gonna get way better than you are now. Like, you're not even doing anything right, like, so it's easy enough for me to know that if someone's going to turn up, if someone's going to have conversations, like they're going to get so much better. Yeah. But the power of the words, the power of leadership, you've done that for so many people now, and I think it's the way to change things. And athleticism is a beautiful place to start. I know you're very spiritually thinking deeply about this stuff. Like I have a deep meaning and purpose to things I'm doing. The athletic level is the best place to start with people. Get that clear, massive physical transformation, and then everything changes in the process. Like the spiritual side, the other deeper thoughts about how you're living overall open up. Like that's what you were doing. You were getting the basics done athletically, and
100%.
Let's go. Take yourself to the next level. Hope you got some value out of this. Write some ideas down, write some thoughts down, and maybe rewatch if you picked up some ideas and you're not quite sure exactly what it was saying. Don't be afraid to listen to something on repeat. It's probably one of the biggest things I got from Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
Just listen to it over and over again. If you find something that fires you up, if you find something that brings truth and light into your life.
Yeah, a podcast. He said listen to this podcast every day for 6 months and your income will double. Listen to it every day for like a year, but in the first 3 months my income more than doubled. Tripled, I think.
Yeah. Repetition.
Right.
Let's do it.